King's Quest IV, The Perils of Rosella. The fourth in the King's Quest franchise, and it was actually released in 1988. Damn, that's old. I was only 13 when this game came out. Of course, the trick is with anything like that is getting a computer that can handle it, and at the time, my computer could not handle it. Well, no, I fib. It could handle it. I just had CGA at the time. Now, this was actually released in two different versions. First using the original Sierra adventure game interpreter, and then for their then they released it in Sierra Creative Interpreter. Now this is set directly after King's Quest III. It literally takes off just where King's Quest III ends. And this game was also designed to work with a clock, which means you literally had 24 hours from the time you start the game. You could play it for 24 hours and try to beat it. Of course, seasoned players can do it. And you saw my playthrough of it, I did in about somewhere in the neighborhood of 3, a little bit over that. Of course, like if you save and restore, it decreases the amount of time that passes in game unless you complete certain events. So, what's the story? Well, it opens with Graham having a heart attack after tossing his adventurer's hat to the waiting hands of Alexander and Rosella. And lo and behold, with King's Quest III having ended with the hat in midair, mid-toss, he has a heart attack. And of course, because we are caring individuals, we all rush over. And then we have Graham in his bed. They got him to his bed, but he is not well. At best, he has 24 hours. And when Rosella goes out to the throne room just so she can have a quiet sob, she is contacted via the magic mirror by the fairy Genesta in the far-off land of Tamir. Now, Genesta knows of something that can help King Graham survive this fatal heart attack. It's a fruit that grows every so many years. And she can bring Rosella to Tamir so she can get the fruit. But Genesta is a fairy. She's a fae. And fairies do not do things unless there is something in return for them. At least by the old stories. And the modern ones, if Dresden Files has anything to say about it. You see, Genesta has enough power to bring Rosella to Tamir, but not to send her back because prior to this she was attacked by an evil fairy, the evil fairy Lolot. And so, Rosella must successfully defeat Lolot and get Genesta's talisman back, thus restoring Genesta's health. She must also get the fruit. Of course, the trick is to get close enough to Genesta, or to Lolot. I mean, a princess is obviously going to draw attention. And so, we must head to Tamir. Well, we go to Tamir. And disguised as a peasant woman, peasant girl, Rosella must navigate through the land of Tamir with all the mythical entities there, including Pan, Cupid, and some not so nice ones like ogres, zombies, and other foul evil creatures. And a troll. Now, you can obtain the apple at any time. Actually, it's one of the easiest somewhat easiest things to do. All you have to do is get access to the cave, which is under the waterfall. You need to be a good swimmer to get to that cave. Get through the cave, which will have a troll in it. And it's dark, so you need a light. There's also a chasm in it that's bottomless, so you'll need something to cross it with. And the troll cave is one of the most nastiest things. It is definitely the motto for save early, save often, and use several save states. Because if you do not, you will not get through that cave, especially if you overwrite a save state. And so, we work our way through there. Get to the other side, to a swamp where you must jump from grass island to grass island, or else you sink into the swamp. And in the middle of that swamp is where the tree is with this magical fruit, but there's a snake guarding it, so you've got to distract the snake or hypnotize the snake to get the fruit and get away from it before it attacks you and kills you. But anyhow, as it works out, through the whole instances, through going to Tamir and all that fun stuff, and once you get that fruit, now you have to make your way back, to which you must, but to do that, you are going to have to get past Lolot. And the trick in that is getting up to talk to her. Of course, if you step on the path to her castle, she will, of course, abduct you. And once you get there, and she abducts you, you can actually then head back and make your way. Of course, once you see Lolot, she gives you a task to prove that you aren't a spy for Janista. And the first thing you must do is capture a unicorn. Well, in order to get the unicorn, you need to get something that's on a far-off island. Well, not too far off, but in order to get to it, you have to get swallowed by a whale, which is one of the more irritating puzzles in the game. Of course, you better have something so he could sneeze you out. And you got to know parts of the anatomy, like a uvula. And then when we make our way through, yay, we make our way through that and we get that. And what we do is we make our way through and we make our way down to another. Now, once you capture the unicorn and take it back to Lolot, she then gives you another task because she's not entirely sure about your about you yet. By the way, these visits to Lolot's castle, you have caught the eye of her, not the best looking son in the world. Makes you ask, how the hell did such a hateful being come up able to get a kid? Well, now you have to get a hen that lays golden eggs, and the hen is basically trapped in is basically possessed by the ogres. So, you have to sneak in the ogre's house. You have to distract the dog. You have to get into a hiding spot and get a few other items, like an axe. And once you do all that, and you have everything and get that, you can then venture into and get the hen and sneak out of there. She'll give you one last task. Yes, your last task, which is to find Pandora's box. You don't know where it is. So you're going to have to find it. You're also going to have to get something that will help you out, because it's going to be about this time that you start going into the nighttime. And you have to do a bit of a scavenger hunt with the ghosts in a haunted house. Now, of course, each ghost appears and will need something to quiet it down, which means you have to go out to the graveyard and find the items you need. Oh, and if that's not fun enough, the shovel you find is only good for 5 diggings, and it breaks. Which means if you don't get it, you're screwed. Save early, save often. And what makes it even better is at nighttime, zombies come out and want to eat your brains. Luckily, there is something that can keep the zombies away from you, but you have to be able to out-trick the Grey Sisters. Beings from mythology that have one eye and one fat tooth between them. Of course, once they give you they have the item that will protect you, because as you start digging and a zombie comes and grabs you, you're dead. Unless you have the scarab. It's also very handy when you finally get through the scavenger hunt and get the key to a tomb which has Pandora's box. And do not open the box. You do not want to open the box. It's not because the Cenobite will come, it's because this is not the Pandora's box of legend. It does have all the evils in the world in it. Hope is not left in the box. Of course, there's a mummy guarding it, which means you have to be careful and time it just right, or have something to protect yourself with. Also, I should mention that where the Grey Sisters live is in a cave behind a forest of living trees. In a living forest that is not like the living forest in Mortal Kombat 2 or Mortal Kombat 9. It's more like the forest from HR Puffin stuff, because it'll grab you. And of course, then once you maneuver through it and get that, and then head back up to Lolot, she will reward you with Edgar's hand in marriage, which will be held in the morning. And of course, you get locked in Edgar's room, and Edgar will sleep elsewhere, because that is wedding tradition. However, as you are trapped in that room, Edgar does bring up some roses with a key in it. A key which will allow you to sneak out, climb down a tower with spiral staircases. Or you can reclaim your stuff, including Cupid's bow. Then sneak up to Lolot's room. Shoot her with the arrow. Such a hateful creature gets killed by love. And then you get all the stuff that was taken from you, including Pandora's box and the hen. You make sure you put the box back in the crypt. And you make your way all back to make sure you get the locket, and then make your way back to Genesta so you could save her life, and then get back home to save Graham. And that ends it, and you find out that, of course, Edgar wasn't as bad looking as Lolot made him, because removing the curse, and he's a handsome fella. And Rosella resists the momentary urge to accept his proposal. But this is the first time we meet Edgar, and we will meet Edgar again. And throughout the whole game, you play the game, and you get back to Genesta, give her her locket. She restores to health. You return her hen. She will send you back home, so you can save Graham. Now, this game also had the opportunity of a bad ending, and that's if you eat the apple. You still return home, but you can't save Graham, and he dies. But we don't want that ending, because we still have adventures to have. And that basically brings an end to King's Quest IV. Now, this was a wonderful game. It did offer that soft locking logic. You do have to grab everything when you can. There's no missing out. You pretty much have to do pretty much everything, because everything you do advances your ability to continue in the game. Clean up the dwarves' house. Hey, in the end, you get a bag of diamonds. You return the bag of diamonds, and you get a lantern, which allows you to sneak around in the troll cave. You find a little golden ball, you give it to a frog, you pick up the frog, you kiss the frog, and the frog turns into a prince, and he's confused because only a princess could be able to undo the curse, and this was done by a common peasant girl. But you get the crown, which will allow you to get by the waterfall to get into the cave. There are things everywhere that allow you to advance the game. Getting the minstrel, getting a book from Shakespeare from the haunted house, and giving it to a minstrel will allow you to get a lute. You play the lute for Pan, you get a flute. The flute will let you distract a snake. And a whole bunch of other things where there is sensible logic in the progression. And of course, climbing up the whale's tongue is a tricky puzzle as well, and you have to do that to get out of the whale. And there's also a cute little thing. You find a bottle, open the bottle, read the note. It has all sorts of notes, and it changes each time you read the note, which is plugs for various other Sierra games. But it is a fun little game. It is a great game to play. I do suggest that you get it and experience it, because this is early gaming at its finest. One of its finest moments. And it does set the stage for some future adventures, which I'll talk about when I get to them. As always, this is Rich Kale here on YouTube, Rich Gen X elsewhere, inviting you to subscribe to the channel and check out all the other videos. And until next time I do a retrospective, have fun and check out the other videos. Bye!